Welcome to Loblaw Blah Blah Blah. I'm the host, David Robert Loblaw, and my guest today is Donald William Bartholomew Jedlic. And did you choose your confirmation name, or did you have it chosen for you?
No, I chose it.
That, and do you know why?
Because another one of my friends who was also getting confirmed had a list somewhere of names that were okay to use. And I wanted the weirdest one that I could think of. And he picked Isidore and I picked Bartholomew.
But Bartholomew, I mean, yeah, it has to be a Catholic saint. I mean, that was the criteria. But you not only did a Catholic saint, but also an apostle. So you picked the big time.
Really? And I had no idea.
Wow. Of the many Rambo movies with Sylvester Stallone, was Rambo 3 the best?
Is 3 the one where he goes to Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Of course, I think it's the best.
Yeah, right. Are you mad that you were cut from your scene in Rambo 3?
Initially I was, Dave, but in retrospect, I wasn't a very good actor, even for an extra. I couldn't quite get my emotions pumping, so it's probably best for the movie that they cut me out, and they cut all us Caucasians out of it.
That was during the fight scene in Thailand at the beginning, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no shot of you at all, even a side shot or anything.
No, not in the final, that's for sure. The best part, when they advertised it, they advertised for a leftover Vietnam junkie vet. And so when I went to apply, or they hired me the first day, they said, okay, go over to costume or whatever that's called. What's that called?
Wardrobe.
Go to wardrobe. And he said, because we'd been traveling for a while, and he said, yeah, you're okay, go ahead.
See, character actors make the most money in Hollywood. You could have been at all of those type of movies, every Rambo, every all those 4th of July, all those ones.
I'd like to play a extra Russian gangster.
Yeah. Do you have the accent?
No, I wouldn't want a line.
you just want the look.
Yeah.
You were born and grew up in Stoughton, which is about 90 miles southeast of Regina. And I always heard that the railroad track between Regina and Stoughton is the straightest track in the entire world. But that's not true, is it?
It's not true, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think it's the straightest in Canada.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but whatever we got, Russia's got 10 times of.
So the longest one's in Russia somewhere?
I think so.
Wow.
I mean, they got that Trans-Siberian, right? There's got to be some pretty straight stretches.
Oh, yeah. And you did that one.
We got on it in a time when Andropov had been cracking down on vodka intoxication. Too many people were drunk.
Too many.
And I remember we took a bunch of booze on the train from China. And about day 3, the conductor of the Siberian Express saw this booze. I had about 3 fingers left in a bottle of vodka. He wanted it. I said, give me that badge off your hat. This is a real the conductor. Yeah. He tore it right off immediately, gave it to me. I gave him the vodka, and I still got the badge today. They were hungry for booze, I'll tell you.
Oh, wow. So if it was anti-vodka and all that, how did you buy, you bought the booze in China?
Yeah. We stopped right at the border, and in the 50s, the Russians had built a distillery right at the border of Heilongjiang. So they still made vodka there out of this old distillery. Oh. I don't think it was very good, but it was effective.
Did you know there was a ban on vodka when you bought it?
Not really. Russia? We might have, but I don't think so. I mean, we knew we were going to be on the train for 7 days, so we took a fair bit of booze.
Was there much scenery?
It looked an awful lot like Meadow Lake.
Yeah?
Yeah. North of PA there, it looked an awful lot like that.
Yeah.
They had a bloody electric train that went thousands of kilometers, unlike Saskatchewan.
We used to have trains. Speaking of life stories, your mom's and your dad's, it's pretty amazing. I got most of this from your mom's obituary, and I'll just read it here. This is a book in itself. In 1951, Anna crossed the Atlantic in the hull of a converted horseboat with a 10-year-old son, two 8-month-old twins, and her husband, Emil. That's how to say it?
Emil, yeah.
Who just 1 year earlier had returned to her from a Russian prison camp. They docked at Quebec City on a warm fall day, determined to build a new life. Anna and Emil made their way to Arcola, Saskatchewan, where Emil took work at the local meat market. By 1957, they've saved enough to buy their own meat market in nearby Stoughton. That's a heck of a story packed into that little tiny bit of obituary.
I don't think it's all that uncommon. I mean, you look at all the Eastern European and even Western European immigrants who came to Canada in the 50s, they all did pretty well. And
so the big part of that obituary is obviously your father in a Russian prison camp. If my math is right, he just got released in 1950.
I think it was a little before that actually, but around there somewhere. I think he spent a couple of years there. He never talked about it ever, I never really got to question. I mean, I was pretty young when he died, but still, I never got to question him or anything on it. I don't know.
Any of your older
brothers tell me some stories now and then. I don't know if they're all true, but things get distorted pretty easily in family histories and stuff.
Yeah. But you don't recall your dad talking about it at all?
No. He barely talked to me, Dave. It was like everybody back then, your old man just tolerated you, kind of. I thought, I don't know.
So little Donnie on his dad's lap, and he's stroking your hair, and you're saying, "Dad, what was it like in Russia?" That never happened.
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe when I was a baby, I don't know.
Traveling. So you've traveled everywhere. So I
never been to Africa, Dave.
I was just gonna say, is there a continent you haven't been to? You haven't been to Africa at all?
I haven't been to Africa, no.
Oh, is that on your next stop?
I got it on my bucket list.
Yeah. So what country to start with?
I'd like to go to Botswana, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'd like to go to Namibia, but I think it's pretty bloody expensive.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, oh, you're a tourist, take a helicopter. It's only $200 an hour,
And aside from America, what was the first country you went to?
Germany.
And why?
My mother went back for a visit in 75, I think, or 76. She tried to get my dad to go, but he didn't want to go. He was poo-pooing it. And then about a week after she was gone, he went and bought a ticket and went.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And me and my younger sister went with my mother. Meet the relatives, that sort of thing.
Ah. So what do you think your dad thought about in that 1 week while she was gone and he changed his mind?
I don't know. What would probably came to his senses. I don't know.
What country did you experience that was completely opposite of your expectations, good or bad?
I don't know. The 2 or 3 years ago, we went to China, and it had changed so much.
Oh, wow, yeah.
From the last 20, 30 years that it was pretty mind-boggling in some circumstances,
That's
like, what year were you in Shanghai?
88.
Yeah. So you go back in 2019, you wouldn't recognize the place. So that was a little mind-boggling. And just the fact that there's so much tourism within China now. Back in the 80s, God, you're lucky if you got away for a weekend,
Yeah.
The old train and a bus where you wouldn't get a seat for 4 hours. Now it's all high-speed trains and, Starbucks everywhere and shit. People look half decent.
That's what I wonder, whether I'd be so disappointed to go back there after 30 years.
Yeah, I don't know if disappointing is the right word. It's just unexpected for me. I mean, I know it had progressed and stuff, but
Yeah, but a
I think
lot.
what was unexpected was the level of sort of local tourism within China.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And
People
what's
had what money, I guess. People have wealth now.
yeah, like before it was like that you said that packed trains and just like it was just insane. And wasn't the story with Al? The one train was so packed he went like 5 hours on one foot because there wasn't even space to put it down his other foot.
Well, I think Mary Shield sat in the sink of the little train toilet overnight, I think.
And now there's
I don't know. I didn't really expect. I don't know what I knew it was going to have modern travel, modern trains and stuff. But I don't know. It just everybody seemed hip and everybody seemed to be doing something, which wasn't the case in 1986. People only did something if they saved for a couple of years to do it.
You think is that all over? Do you think even in Zhuzhou and Hunan where you taught?
Yeah, because we went back to Zhuzhou and I couldn't recognize it. It looked like bloody Las Vegas. You were in Zhuzhou, weren't you?
Yeah.
Disgusting place that built train diesel engines and rain and mud everywhere. No, it's insane. It's like,
where would be a place you'd want to go that's stuck in the past? Not Regina, but
well, I don't know. I'd like to go somewhere that has some modern sewage. But I like the stuff that feels like 1957 Stoughton.
Yeah.
Parts of Uzbekistan felt that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like some of the rural areas. I don't know. I saw a documentary on TV the other night. It was about the country of Georgia. Some guy traveling around selling little trinkets and clothing and stuff to villagers. And some of those places look pretty interesting. Yeah. It looked like there's only young people and old people left in those villages. Everybody else had buggered off to the EU to work,
Yeah.
I can't think of any scary border crossings.
Well, that's pretty amazing considering how much the world you and Trish have traveled and
actually in like I said, 1990 or 90, we took a car from Phnom Penh in Cambodia to Saigon, and we didn't have the correct documentation in our passport, and they weren't going to let us through. These Vietnamese soldiers, border guards, they made like $4 a month at the time, and they wanted $50, and that was a lot of money to me even then.
Yeah.
But anyways, we gave it to them, and we got to go through. But that was the shittiest one, I guess.
Did you file a complaint?
No, Dave, I did not.
You did not. That was against the law, or was it?
I just hope the guy had a very, very pleasant chat.
Didn't you have to bribe someone in Russia and you didn't know how?
Yeah, we had to bribe some guy to get on a goddamn train. And Trish,
like, how do you do that?
The $10 US bill finally fell on the ground, and the conductor of the train and some other woman and us all look at it. Nobody says anything. It was the most uncomfortable thing I ever witnessed, I think. In the end, I don't think we gave it to anybody.
Just dropped it.
We picked it up and they let us on we had to pretend there wasn't a language on earth that we could understand. Because they had translators trying to figure out what language we spoke, and it was so stupid.
You were just talking gibberish?
Well, we just pretended we couldn't understand them. We weren't getting off the train. Anyway, that was stupid. I know how to bribe your way out of a seatbelt ticket or something like that in Bangkok. They always have clipboards, and then when they're at your window, you just slide it in the elastic underneath the clipboard.
How much?
Well, yeah, that I didn't know. I was with a taxi driver. I think he gave him 50 or 100 baht. It's not that much money, but apparently it's quite efficient, they argue, because then you don't have to go to the cop station. Cops are underpaid anyway. Yeah. This saves a bunch of time and hassle.
We can do that here.
Yeah. You'd have way more Uber drivers, probably.
Yeah. So we're like bribing. You thinking, how much do you bribe, though? I mean, there's a lot of complications to the system. It seems so easy in the movies.
You're right. You got to know how much and how to do it. And it's not a straightforward deal.
A few more. Yeah. Have you ever touched a monkey?
No.
Have you ever been near a monkey?
Yes.
You never touched one
No. I don't like monkeys.
because they steal your purse.
They seem dangerous to me.
Yeah, that's right. Like,
They can embarrass you easily.
yeah. Have you ever in India? There's other country you've been to, but definitely saw monkeys steal purses of tourists. I mean, that was just weird to think about how good they were. They were clever. Yeah.
I don't trust them.
So you'd never have a monkey as a pet.
That's correct.
Have you ever eaten monkey?
No.
No.
Not that I know of.
No. But you've probably eaten various items that you can't eat here, though.
Well, I'm sure we've all eaten shit we don't know what it was, you know?
Yeah, meat is meat. Speaking of meat, what happened to Tom, your pet calf?
He got slaughtered.
So you worked in your mom and dad owned a slaughterhouse. So why did you have a pet calf?
Well, there's always cattle around. You know, we had like a little feedlot beside the slaughterhouse. You'd have to, give people some time to bring in their cattle, and then you'd chase them into the killing room when it was time. But I guess it was probably a heifer, would come to the fence, and let me pet it, and I'd sit on it sometimes, and it was quite a good relationship. And then they slaughtered it, and we had beef roast one Sunday, which was quite good. My mother was a good cook.
So how long did you have a friendship with Tom?
Oh, I don't know, 3 months maybe or something.
Oh.
Or 2 months. I can't recall.
That's a Disney movie.
It wasn't imagined anyway, because they used to come to the fence when I'd climb up on the fence, and they would come over,
So what did your dad think when you named it?
I don't think he even knew I named it. The hired guy, the German guys who did the butchering, they knew. And when we were having supper eating it, he couldn't help himself. He had to say something about it.